This deep green flow represents a biological system in perfect equilibrium. You can live with high uric acid for years, feeling completely healthy and maintaining your normal routine without a single physical symptom to suggest anything is wrong. Uric acid is a standard byproduct of existence. Every time your body turns over its own cells or processes the purines in your food, it generates this chemical waste. In a healthy system, blood carries waste to the kidneys, where it's cleared as urine, keeping levels safe. Imbalance occurs when the body overproduces this waste, or the kidneys struggle to clear it, causing particles to densely pile up within the bloodstream. Throughout this accumulation phase, the body remains silent. No alarms go off and no pain receptors fire to warn you that the concentration is rising. This silence indicates that a cumulative groundwork is being laid for a future crisis, even while you feel entirely fine. This macro view adjoint surface captures the transition from silence to crisis. You wake up one morning with a single joint, often the big toe, pulsing with intense heat and swelling, far too painful for even a light touch. This is the chemical saturation point. The uric acid has reached such high levels that the blood can no longer hold the waste in a dissolved state. Once that threshold is crossed, the floating particles snap together. They transform into monosodium urate crystals, sharp, jagged structures that act like microscopic needles. These needles lodge in the joint tissue, where they are detected by the immune system. The resulting white blood cell response is what causes the fierce, localized inflammation and agony. The sudden flare marks the exact moment the chemical threshold is breached, triggering a physical explosion that has been building for years. It is a common misconception that this pain is purely a consequence of consuming rich foods like steak or alcohol. While diet plays a role, the triggers are much broader. Triggers like dehydration, certain diuretic medications, and natural aging can tip the fluid balance, forcing uric acid to crystallize. This chemical vulnerability isn't restricted to the feet or ankles. The same process occurs deep within the urinary tract. When urine becomes overly concentrated and acidic, these jagged needles bind together inside the kidney. They form a solid, heavy mass, resulting in the excruciating pain of a kidney stone. Uric acid acts as a systemic threat. It is a chemical imbalance capable of damaging multiple organ systems simultaneously. Ignoring a flare once the initial pain fades allows the cycle to continue. Without intervention, the attacks return more frequently, involve more joints, and last for longer durations. Chronic accumulation leads to the formation of toffee. As shown here, these are hardened, nodular masses of crystals that build up under the skin, physically distorting the area around the joints. This persistent crystal burden causes irreversible skeletal damage, wearing down cartilage and bone until it transitions into chronic arthritis and permanent loss of mobility. Treating the flares as temporary inconveniences ensures that the underlying chemical imbalance continues this slow, structural destruction. To understand the true impact, we have to look past the individual joints and examine the body's metabolic landscape. High uric acid rarely exists in isolation. It is a byproduct of a strained metabolic engine, the same engine responsible for regulating blood pressure, processing sugar, and managing cholesterol. When one system stalls, the others often follow. Because it shares these metabolic pathways, a raised uric acid level serves as a measurable indicator of systemic stress, often appearing long before more severe cardiovascular issues become obvious. This timeline can be interrupted. By testing early and monitoring patterns, you can identify a rising concentration and address the root imbalance before crystals ever have the chance to form. Viewing uric acid as a window into your wider metabolic status allows you to intervene before a silent imbalance results in permanent physical damage.